What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Worlds Podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Orbot to my Qbot. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's a Orbot and what's a Qbot?
Oh, they're two of Dr. Robotnik's robots.
Oh, okay. That's the rooster and the drill dude.
Yeah, their role, but for the newer kids.
Man, look at that. They're just destroying my childhood and giving kids a new childhood. That's
I know, right?
malarkey.
I had to throw in the reference, though, because Sonic turned 30 this week, so I had to slip that in.
Nice.
But
I
anyway,
like it when
how
you
are
slip
you?
things in. I'm not bad, man. How are you?
I'm okay. I read comics all day and then watched the Demon Slayer movie.
How is it? I've heard nothing but good things.
It was great. I had
Yeah.
actually already read the manga because I was so
Oh.
obsessed with the first season that I had to know what happened next. But it was
Yeah.
still really cool to see it animated.
Nice. So it just takes place after the first season
It
then?
does, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it's gonna be one of those ones where it's like none of this matters. We
Oh
just
no,
want
it
to make
definitely
money.
matters.
Okay.
It was
You
cool
got
though.
you gotta love those anime movies where they're like the My Hero Academia ones where it's like, hey, this crazy stuff's happening, but guess what? By the end of it, it's gonna just be like, nah,
School
we don't even
festival.
yeah, those like we don't even remember this happening.
I know. Dude, the last season of that, like the first half was so amazing, and then the second half when they just did that festival, I'm like, why did you end with this? It should have been the other way
Well, I mean, it's
around.
it's at least happy. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't have been that many episodes. Like three tops. But
Yeah,
it's like that's a nice happy ending after like the heaviness of overhaul.
I know, but man, that the overhaul stuff was just so good.
Yeah, no, it's like that's that show, and I every time I talk about it, it's like there's episodes where it's just like I can't watch, I don't want to ever start them because I know I'm gonna have to watch that whole arc. So it's like the when they start doing like the school fest, like the first school festival thing, like where they're all like fighting each other and like Deku's like breaking all of his fingers. Like I have to watch that all as a whole. Or like after Bakugo gets taken by the League of Villains, and like they like after like that happens, I'm like watching it all until it gets to that gets resolved because it's so cool. And
Yeah,
then like the overhaul stuff when they start rating that, I'm like, yes, this is so awesome.
and the character arc for Lemillion and all that stuff,
Oh
like
yeah,
all of it was just so cool.
he's like my favorite character, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, come on, your power's back.
Anyway, welcome to our new podcast, the My Hero Academia Cast. But anyway, let's hop into some news. Casey's got just a monster stack of news this week, so why don't you take it away, bud?
All right, man. I have two things. He's being very sarcastic because he's like, "Oh, I'm better than you" for some reason. I don't really get this whole sarcasm here, but whatever. He wants to be aggressive. Might as well let him. But so last week I talked about Fell getting made finally by Image, and with Warren Ellis and Ben Temple-Smith coming back together, and well, I don't know if it's going to get made anymore because Image will not publish it after a big outcry from people being like, how can you do this? And so Image isn't doing it. And so I don't know if how the rights work. I know like that it's still a creator owned book, but I don't know if Warren and Ben will be able to go someplace else and be like, oh, publish it here then instead, or that they can self-publish or anything like that. I don't know how that works, but
Yeah.
yeah. And one tweet I saw that was pretty funny. It was like they're just trying to appeal to the non-comic book fans, the ones that can't even name 10 Spawn villains. And I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, I can't name 10 Spawn villains.
Dude, you and I together can't name 10 Spawn
Yeah, it's
villains.
like I know the main bad guy. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, if you end like anything with it probably is a Spawn villain. So it's like
Thrasher.
Eradicator, Thrasher, Crasher, Masher.
That's so funny. Like even though Warren Ellis is a scumbag and shouldn't have done what he did, I think Image should be like just just have the rights to your book, take it somewhere else. We don't want anything to do with it. If you want to
Yeah,
make it. You just can't make it with us.
yeah, that's how it should be. It's 100% how it should be, because it's like the whole point of Image is they should still own the rights to their books that they make. So like
Yeah.
you would think that they get to do that. So
Yeah. All right. I have there were lots of comic announcements in the last week. But one, I'll just touch on a rumor. And this is
rumor.
I know, this is mildly spoilery for this upcoming week, but I heard that in the Teen Titans Academy yearbook special that's coming out this week, that there's a mobile app. I'm doing air quotes if you're just listening. A mobile app debuting soon that's the All Star Squadron. And some people are like, is this like a sneaky comic announcement, or is this just like a nod to an old series in this book? And I hope that it's a comic announcement. I realize there aren't a lot of All-Star Squadron fans out there, but it was a book that I always liked from the 80s and thought it was neat. And it'd be cool to see it back, especially because like the team leader was Hawkman, and we don't have a Hawkman book. So it'd be cool if you were the team leader and like helping out some of these younger or like B, C list heroes become a team.
Now, genuine question about this. So with the All Star Squadron, because I have like no knowledge on them, but if like they did this like an All Star Squadron book, do you think it's going to be something kind of like how Marvel brought back the champions, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're just using the name for name recognition, we're putting whatever characters we want into this book and it doesn't have to make sense?
I mean, that's probably what they do. And, I guess I couldn't fault them. Like I said, it's not like there's a ton of people out there that are like, oh, I loved All Star Squadron. It didn't last a super long time. But a girl can dream.
I got you, man.
Okay. There is a new Black Manta comic book coming out in September. It's going to be a 6-issue miniseries by, let's see here, Chuck Brown and Valentine DeLandro. So if you like Black Manta, I think it's fine that they're doing a mini series, because if you're going to do a book about Black Manta, it should probably be a mini series. So yeah, we'll probably get some Jackson Hyde, Aqua Lad. I don't know, Aquaman. I don't know what he goes by now, but he'll probably show up in there. But either way, could be cool.
Yeah, like that's one of those things where it's like it's a weird timing thing though, because it's like the Aquaman movie is not due to be out for a while, and you think that would be good to hop on that hype train, or like there's nothing, not even like a big Aquaman event going on, So it's just kind of like it's weird that he's getting this now, but I'm interested because he's a super cool character, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't get enough recognition. So it's like I'm interested, but I just don't get the timing.
Yeah.
You think they'd make way more money if the Aquaman movie was coming out, this year?
It would, but I think in September, not that this like changes your opinion a whole lot, but I think September is when the Aquaman 80th anniversary is. So maybe
Okay.
and they've got, I think there's actually a Jackson Hyde Aqualad miniseries coming out too. It's called like Aquaman the Becoming. So I think it's like, oh, it's Aquaman's 80th. Let's just have like a couple Aquaman universe miniseries.
That'd be cool. I mean, that's cool then. Yeah, like I said, there's no part of me that's complaining. It's just still kind of like, you know. All right, so I'll do my other news. And this is like, I don't know how Jeff Lemire is able to sleep, I'll be honest, but he is going to publish a new comic through Image with Andre Sorrento. It's called Primordial, and it's about what really happened to the animals of the space race. So, all the stuff that we and the Russians sent up there, something happened. I don't know what, but Jeff's going to tell us, and I'm excited.
I actually think it sounds really cool.
Yeah, I do too. And it's like, you can't go wrong with Andrea Sorrento's art at all. It's
He's
amazing.
great.
Yeah. So is like, I'm on board for this. Like, honestly, you put those two together, I'll even read a Green Arrow book for a few issues. So
I
I'm
did
pretty excited
read a
about
Green
this.
Arrow book for a few issues.
I did, dude. I read the first two, and then I just stopped picking it up because it's Green Arrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be cool. I think in general that'll be a decently popular book for Image.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I didn't put this in notes, but there was a thing today. They announced a couple more items for WitcherCon, which again is being put on by CD Projekt Red, which made the Witcher games, and Netflix is doing the Witcher show that's happening on July 9th. Let's see the items that they announced. The Witcher 2 or the Witcher Season 2 Deck of Destiny. And that says Destinies collide when the cast and showrunner of Netflix's The Witcher draw cards from an enigmatic deck of fan questions that will determine the path of the panel and the immediate fate of the guests. But these are no ordinary cards. Prepare for surprise reveals, backstage insights, and a dash of chaos as our panelists take us through their journey of filming season 2. So if you like behind the scenes stuff, I think that will be pretty cool. And then the CD Projekt Red, they have a thing called Memories from the Path, stories behind the Witcher games. And it says for over 13 years, the Witcher series of games has captured the imagination of gamers worldwide. Now the developers behind the games discuss how they brought their immersive stories to life before revisiting old memories, uncovering forgotten artifacts, and reminiscing about their favorite moments from the franchise. I really hope that they announce a remaster of The Witcher 3 or the trilogy. It won't be the trilogy, but I could see it being number 3.
Why just 3, not the trilogy?
Well, the first one was PC only, and the mechanics are real bad. So unless they did a lot of work, I just don't see them putting the time into it. And The Witcher 3 is only 6 years old, and it just kind of seems like the thing developers do right now is just remaster like their most popular one. But I was gonna restart the game a few weeks ago, and I was like, I'll just wait and see if they do announce a remaster, and then just play that. And then lastly, Tales from the White Wolf, a spotlight conversation with Henry Cavill, hosted by Josh Horowitz. And it says, to close out WitcherCon, fans will hear from Geralt of Rivia himself, Henry Cavill, who will sit down with moderator Josh Horowitz for an in-depth conversation about fantasy, destiny, and the wider Witcher universe. The White Wolf may even have a surprise or two in store. So, really excited for that. Any of that sounds good to me just because I'm a huge fan of everything. Oh, and they're also doing something called Geralt of Trivia, where they just have some people that worked on the games and show do Witcher themed trivia. So
nice.
Yeah,
I want Mark Waid on there, and he just knows all of that stuff too. And you're like, how do you know everything?
He's just an overall trivia pro.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you like The Witcher at all, again, that'll be July 9th.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah. All right. Some more comic book announcements. There's going to be a 3-issue Black Label miniseries called Superman versus Lobo. That will be written by Tim Seeley and Sarah Beatty, and the art done by the amazing Mirka Andolfo. It's going to look great. I don't know how the writing's going to be. Like Tim Seeley's fine. And maybe with this Sarah Beatty, who I looked up, she and Tim write this book through, gosh, I'm blanking on who puts it out, but it's called Money Shot. And it's literally just like a weird space, not safe for work comic.
Yeah.
um, but people seem to really like it. So, maybe this Superman versus Lobo 3-issue mini will be good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna check it out. You put Lobo on something, I'll check it out. And like, unless it's like a writer that I won't read, but Tim Seeley's not there yet. So like, I've enjoyed for the like at the very least with Tim, it's like I like it. I don't love it, but
Yeah.
it's still like a solid like.
And I'm pretty sure he did that last Masters of the Universe miniseries, and I did enjoy
Yeah.
that. So, I'm not going to
Hmm.
crap on it too much. And then also, Chip Zdarsky is going to be writing a 7-issue miniseries on the Joker called Joker Presents a Puzzle Box. Don't really have much more info on
Yeah.
it, but it's Zdarsky writing the Joker. I think you and I are both in for that.
Yeah, I mean, Zdarsky's one of those ones that's kind of he's got me to the point now where it's like I'm just gonna read what you write, dude. I guess I'll read another Joker book even. I mean, I'm not interested at all in another Joker book, but I like you a lot, Zdarsky, so this should be good.
Yeah, I hope so too. Speaking of 7-issue miniseries, I had no idea we're getting a Alfred Pennyworth comic. It's just called Pennyworth. That's written by Scott Bryan Wilson and art by Juan Gedian. And I guess it's about his like MI6 days. So we get a young, sexy question mark Alfred and his cool MI6 spy days.
I'm excited to see the young, sexy exclamation point Alfred. Um, but no, I'm like this. I don't know how interested I am in this. I mean, I would love it if the series ends with him like telling this story, his life story on a beach, and they're like, "How did you end up here?" He's like, "Well, I pretended to let Bane kill me because I was tired of dealing with this little orphan that likes to play dress up, and it took my money, and I came here to whatever island, and now I'm sipping mai tais and living my best life."
Right. Because that's what he deserves.
Exactly.
All right. And then Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman announced this week a new publisher imprint called Kids Love Chains. And their first comic will be titled Vanquish. This is Ryan Stegman's first creator owned series. Uh, I think Donnie Cates self proclaims himself the bad boy of comics. So,
Yeah.
uh,
When we all know it's really Chip.
right. I guess the Kids Love Chains is a callback to Spawn. I
Oh,
guess
okay.
like McFarlane either said that about Spawn or that's in a Spawn book, but that's where they got the name from. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know if I said Vanish or Vanquish, but I think the title's Vanish.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Um, what's your excitement level? Because I know you're now Donald Cates boy #1.
I think that's stretching it a bit.
I know, just a little bit.
Um, like honestly, like a 2.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't really care.
Yeah, I
I've
got you, man.
a new imprint, like I'm not invested in any of it. And
Uh-huh.
my gosh, like this week I think I read 14 comics. It's like, dude, I don't need another new thing to care about. I'm sorry, Donald.
Yeah.
What about you?
I might check it out. It really will just depend on what it's about. Like if it's just about like like the people that magicians make disappear and where they go when that happens, I will gladly read it because I've always wanted to know. But if it's something else that I'm not interested in, I won't.
Right on. Um, I think I just have one more thing if you want to do your other one.
I did my other one.
Oh, So you did. That is both items. You are correct. Okay, let's talk Spider-Man, Casey.
Let's talk Spider-Man.
All right. So on a previous episode, it was stated that yeah, who's right? Nick Spencer is done with Amazing
Nikki
Spider-Man
Spence.
with issue number 75. And we got word this week of what they're doing after that. And it's called Spider-Man Beyond. And I will read you what that entails. Starting in October, Amazing Spider-Man will return with a story so bombastic that it will take the greatest team of web writers and arachnid artists ever assembled to tell it. Kelly Thompson, Saladin Ahmed, Cody Ziegler, Patrick Gleason, and Zeb Wells will team up on the thrice monthly title to shake up the Spider-Man mythos in ways no one will see coming. The saga will kick off in Amazing Spider-Man 75, where Ben Reilly will return to take back the mantle of Spider-Man. Backed by the Beyond Corporation, the captivating clone of Peter Parker is determined to be the best version of Spider-Man there ever was. Yeah, and as some of the teasers showed, this could have a fatal consequence for Peter Parker. That's what they're hinting at. So
Doesn't sound good.
it doesn't sound good. And what got me is the greatest team of writers and artists to tell it. And then you heard the list. That's not it for me. I don't know about anyone else, but
no, I mean, like, here's a fun question. Get like just do 3 writers, just writers, that you would be like, this is the team for the best Spider-Man stories, like that you would make if you want to like make a conglomerate of writers to write a thrice monthly series.
okay. This one you might not count, but I believe that Steve Ditko actually did more than just the art for Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's the Marvel way.
So I'm going to say Ditko, even though people will be like, well, he was just the artist. I don't think that he was just the artist. So I'm going to say Ditko. I'm also going to say, surprisingly, Dan Slott, because what I read of Dan Slott's Spider-Man, I thought was great. And then I think I have to go with JMS.
Yeah, I mean, I would go JMS and Dan Slott for sure. And then I'd probably just throw in Mark Waid because it's like that's a layup every time.
It is. Yeah. So, yeah, Peter might die. Ben Reilly's back with the support of Beyond Corporation. And it sounds like a really poor rehashing of Superior Spider-Man if he's determined to be the best one yet, just like when Doc Ock did it. So, but that's the thing, right? That's what Marvel's doing right now. We did 2099 again. We did Heroes Reborn again. We've done, we had Maximum Carnage. Now we had Absolute Carnage and Extreme Carnage. And now we're doing Superior Spider-Man again.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like Superior Spider-Man, but
I know it's not, but they're not switching bodies. It's just like
yeah.
the idea sounds very similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with they already brought Superior Spider-Man back once,
Yeah.
So it's So I just think it's they're seeing how well it probably is doing twice a month. They're like, hey, we can milk this cow for all it's worth until people get tired of it.
Dude, I can promise you, I will have customers that are going to drop this title because they don't want to pay for it 3 times a month.
Yep. And especially like now, is there still other Spider books out there?
Well, I mean, there's Miles and Silk.
Well, I mean like Friendly Neighborhood or anything like that.
Nonstop.
Okay, there you go. Why
Um,
why pay 3 times a month for a Spider-Man book when you can just get nonstop Spider-Man once a month?
yeah,
Like it doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't. And there's and then Web of Spider-Man just started
Okay.
up again. Um, Spider Shadows a mini series and a what if story, but still,
Yeah.
there's plenty of Spider books. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts to add to this?
I think it's gonna be one of those things that's gonna probably hurt comic book shops in the long run. Sorry to say it, bud.
I mean, I'll just adjust orders as needed,
Yeah, like
I mean, people will drop the book and then Marvel will get like a pretty big name writer and do another creative team change. The new writer will stay on it for 6 issues and then
give it a new
they'll
number one.
yeah, give it a new number one. And then after that first arc, they'll give it to another set of like B team creators, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they're stretching way too far on this one.
Yeah. I think they need to get once this crap's done and once Shang-Chi's done, they need to put Yang on Spider-Man because he already showed he can do that really well.
And I would be picking up Spider-Man again.
Me too. Unless it's coming out 3 times a month, then I would say sorry, Yang. Not doing it.
For sure. Okay. Well, I think that's everything. So,
yeah. Thanks so, man.
All right. We'll take our ad break and we'll be back to talk some comics. So we'll be right back.
So you got an ad break story for us, man? Any crazy people at the shop going like, "Hey, I want this comic. Where's it at?"
Okay, this isn't like a terrible customer story, but it is a really quick, funny one. A few weeks ago, I had a guy in and I have this little section of like leftover free comic book day comics. And he was like, "Are these still free?" I said, "Yeah, help yourself." He's like, "Cool." He picks up a few and he's flipping through them. And he's like, "So how often do you get these?" And I was like, "Get what?" He's like, "The free comic book day comics." I was like, "Once a year for free comic book day?" And he goes, "Once a year?" Like he was so surprised by that answer. And it just tickled me.
That's
I,
really
I was
funny.
like, it was really hard for me not to like be rude and
Yeah.
laugh in front of him. But anyway, I thought that was worth sharing.
Nice, man.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for listening to the ad. And for those just listening, if you want to hear a YouTube exclusive story instead of an ad break, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch and hear a little funny story. All right, Casey, what comics did you read, my friend?
I read Gamma Flight #1. Superman, or also known as Is This the End of Superman? #32. Wolverine 13. Fantastic Four Life Story, The 70s #2. Robin #3. Superman Action Comics 1032. Batman Detective Comics 1038. Batman Superman 19. Infinite Frontier #1. Silk #4, and Batman Reptilian Book 1. What about you?
All right. I read Sonic the Hedgehog 30th Anniversary, Mr. Miracle Source of Freedom #2, Robin #3, Wonder Woman 774, Action Comics 1032, Robin #3, Silk #4, Detective Comics #1038, Batman Reptilian #1, and Infinite Frontier #1. There were a couple others from the last week that I read, but I'm not going to talk about those because we have enough to talk about.
I got you.
All right. I'll start. The ones that I just read and that you did not read, I'm going to be very brief and just say, do I recommend it or not? Because I feel like we're going to talk way too long on the ones that we read
All
together.
right.
All right. So Sonic the Hedgehog 30th anniversary. This had like a whole slew of creators on it. But anyway, it was a collection of short stories. and all of it was great. The art was fantastic. We got a super cool Knuckles versus Metal Knuckles fight, which was awesome. Um, and it just pretty much anybody in the Sonic universe that's like relevant right now, anyways, got like a short story. So it was super cool. I really liked it. The only other thing I will say about it is the very last story was titled Dr. Eggman's Birthday. And he's looking around in his like lair for his robot servants, and it shows a sign up on the wall that says, "Do not wash your hands. You are a robot." And I thought that was hilarious.
That is fantastic.
But anyway, this was a perfect book for Sonic's birthday. The art was truly like out of this world, even for Sonic books. So an easy 10 out of 10 for me.
Since
It was
this
pure
is
bliss.
since this is a 30th anniversary, I have to ask, did they get Ken Penders?
They did not
Oh
actually.
man.
Wouldn't
That's
that have been crazy?
I mean, like I know he's a running joke and stuff, but still, like you kind of think that they should.
Yeah, but the way things ended, you just knew they weren't going to give him a
Yeah.
call for this.
Maybe at the 60th.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so next up for me is Gamma Flight from the pages of the Immortal Hulk, Casey's favorite. This is by Al Ewing and Crystal Frazier with Lan Medina on the art. And yeah, it's just them trying to help out the other gamma infected people. Like these are very much Al Ewing versions of the characters. It's just like this is how I want to write them, so this is how they'll be. Like there's this one awkward scene where because there's the doctor that hangs out with them, she's transgendered, and so Sasquatch, who's Samson now, is rubbing her shoulders, and he's like talking to her, and he wants to be changed back into Samson, and he goes. He's like, and get my old body back. And she's like, and get your old body back. Thanks. I don't think the others get it, but I knew you could relate to feeling trapped in a body that feels so unnatural. And she gets mad and she leaves. Like, just because I'm transgender doesn't mean it's unnatural. It's not the same. He's like, oh, it's like, dude, he's a psychiatrist. He would know the correct way to talk to somebody. Like, I put my foot in my mouth a lot. And even as I was reading this, I'm like, boy, this is terrible. Like, my goodness. Like, he's like, do you think just like the Al Ewing just go, he got his doctorate back in the 70s. He doesn't know how to talk to people anymore. Like, get out of here. That was just really stupid. This comic's not very good. I mean, maybe if you really love the Immortal Hulk, you're gonna like this. I don't. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
Oh my goodness. Very different first reviews there. Okay. Mr. Miracle, the Source of Freedom, #2. This was written by Brandon Easton and art by Fico Ossio. And this was cool. I'm kind of surprised how much I like this book. Again, they did change up some of the like Mr. Miracle mythos a little bit. And I don't know if I like that, but I'm also just kind of treating this book like it's alternate universe, whether it is or not. And if I think of it that way, then everything is fine. Yeah, it's cool. We get a little character development, and we learn a little bit about the Thaddeus Brown of this universe. But the art is top tier, and I like where the story's going. So I'm gonna give it like a solid 8. But I just want to show, where's the scene? Like, I think the art is just real good.
That art is pretty fantastic. Yeah. It's like, why couldn't we have got that in the future state ones? I might have actually wanted to read them.
Exactly. Because this is just a total 180 from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 out of 10. Like this is a cool miniseries.
Good. Oh, and you know what's weird though with DC now? This is just like me griping about something. It's like that could be in continuity, and maybe what they're changing is changed, but it's not because they're doing everything happened, but if it's like, even if it didn't happen in this universe, it still happened in this universe, even if it didn't. It's like, how does this make sense? It doesn't.
Right. No, I
It's like
get you.
it's like the New 52 happened, but it also didn't. Okay, so next is Superman, and this is by Philip Kennedy Johnson with somebody on the art. I'm gonna find this out really quick. Um, Gosh, why is it always so hard just to find? I just want to give you guys credit. Come on. But oh, here it is on page 10. Scott Goldlowski on the art. And this whole Superman story so far, it's just not been my favorite as far as these things go. Like, he's in outer space, he beats the Dark Void thing. Spoiler alert, Superman doesn't die. Um, but yeah, it's like, it's very much just him kind of seeing that his son does become, John is going to be a good replacement hero, basically. Like, oh yeah, he's just as much of a hero as I'm ever going to be, blah, 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 that type of thing. But then the backup story, which I'm loving the backup story. I know, like, when you read the first issue of this series, you just you didn't even give it a chance, if I remember correctly. But
Correct.
this backup story is actually worth it, I think. It's by Sean Lewis and Sam Basri on the art. The art's great. This is deals with the stuff that they talked about last time. Bibbo's trying to figure out different stuff, and yeah, it's a good old time. And yeah, they saved the day, and that was a lot of fun. The backup story is better than the main story, in my opinion. And like, which with the main story, like, I'm not knocking it in the same way like I knock Gamma Flight, where I'm like, these characters don't seem the same, like how they should be. Like, he's writing them all really well. It's just like those alien, the alien stuff, I just didn't care about. It's still a well written story, so like I can't really like be like kicking it and yelling about it like I was Gamma Flight. So like, I'm gonna give this like probably a 7 out of 10. I think plenty of people could be like, Casey's crazy, this is fantastic, because it's still a very well written thing, and the art's great too on both stories.
Right on. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. For
For
some
now, because
reason,
isn't it going away?
yeah, that's true. That's true. For some reason, I just got way more attached to action than the
it's
Superman book.
it's the better story. It
Yeah.
honestly is. So fair enough.
Okay. Wonder Woman 774. That's written by Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan with art by Andy McDonald. And so this is the first issue after all of the Norse mythology stuff. They come back to Olympus and it's on fire. And they find one survivor, like everyone else is gone. And he's like, I was two people and we got split in half, and I'm the good half, and the bad half did all of this. And she's crazy. And she sent all of your gods to the graveyard of the gods. And so Wonder Woman goes there to try to find the gods, but she needs help from Boston Brand, the one and only dead man. And yeah, they get there, and as soon as I get there, it's like to be continued. So it was pretty short and sweet, but it was very cool. They set up this new baddie in a pretty neat way, like the whole split personality thing. I was a big fan. The art wasn't as good as it was in the last arc, but it was still pretty awesome. But overall, really, really good. Like, I can't really find many complaints for it, so I got to give it like a 9 out of 10.
Nice, man. I'm not gonna lie. This whole time I was thinking this is like way in the past, not like actual like like in current timeline book, when you were talking about it with all the different Norse stuff going on. Because I'm like, oh, that just makes sense that this would be
Oh, we'll see
way
what
back in the day.
how it ties in is at the end of Death Metal when Wonder Woman's like, I don't want to be a part of your group. I want to go back to Earth and be Wonder Woman. She died and just woke up in Valhalla instead of
Okay.
normal Earth stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's getting back to that point. She's just going on this journey before she gets there.
I got you, man. All right, so next for me is gonna be Wolverine 13, and I'm just gonna preface this by saying I did not like the fact that this was a tie-in to the Hellfire Gala, but this by Benjamin Percy and Scott Eaton on the pencils. So yeah, like you have some crazy stuff happen at the Hellfire Gala, and it's just like I don't know. I didn't really care about this book as I was reading it. It's another one of those tie-in books where I'm like, I'm not invested in the main story. You get to see Wolverine kill some like or stab some stuff a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I just wasn't too into it, especially after that last series, like the last arc that we had with the Wolverine where he's fighting vampires and doing all this cool stuff. And then now it's like, oh, he's at the gala and there's Krakoan stuff, that's getting all cranky. And oh, it turns out Beast is kind of a jerk. Who knew? And so, yeah, like it's whatever. I feel bad because like I just gave a really bad rating to the Marvel book. Now you like was like, oh yeah, DC was good, and then now it's like, boo Marvel. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, when I saw it wasn't him with vampires and Omega Red, I was like, I don't need to read this.
Yeah.
All right. I think my last 6 we read together.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. So my next is Fantastic Four Life Story, the 70s. And this is by Mark Russell with Sean Izaki. Maybe that's how you say his name on the art. And so like the art in this is really good. I still am not the biggest fan of some of the characterizations. So like, because it's just, and also this one was very much a Sue and Reed book. It's like Johnny may have been in 5 panels and Ben Grimm wasn't in it until the end. And it's like, boy, you're using my 2 least favorite Fantastic Four members for a book and not even giving my favorites a time to shine. But there's some Doctor Doom in this. And, it's very much dealing with like the struggle of being married to Reed Richards and being Sue Richards, and like it ends with them kind of breaking up, like separating, and her hooking up with Namer, and Ben Grimm's like, I'm moving in with you, Reed, even though the last issue they weren't friends really until like the very end of that. So it's like it's weird that all of a sudden they're, Ben's like, buddy, we're both gonna be heartbroken together, So that's a bit odd. So yeah, it's just I want to love this book. I truly do. I just haven't got there yet. I'm hoping the next issue I'm gonna be like, guys, just wait it out till the 3rd issue. It's magnificent. But right now it's still like I'm gonna give 6 out of 10.
sounds very middle of the road.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being a little nice if I'm being honest in my opinion, but it's like this is just my inner want of it to be good. So I'm like, I'm gonna will it. Oh yeah, I have more to talk about. Sorry.
Yep.
So next is Batman and Superman, and again, this is going to show my bias once I find the teams. Okay, so Gene Luen Yang was the writer, and then we had Emmanuel Lupacino, Steve Lieber, Derek Robertson, and Kyle Holtz all on the art. And
that is a great lineup, by the way.
Yeah, and since it's like these Superman are going to these different film reels of worlds and they're doing doing their stuff, that's when it changes, and it's such a seamless change because there's times where like you'll have one artist and then it goes to the next artist and it's just kind of like jarring.
Yeah,
and that's when it sucks when they do use different artists on a book. But when it's like this and it works really well. The story itself is a bit odd, but I'm really digging it. Like it's, you have the 2 little Superman trying to fight this god of storytelling basically. And it's really cool. We get some neat characters. You get I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. I'll find it really quick because she's a cool character when she's not written by a certain somebody. But what's her name? what's her name? I can't believe I'm not funny. Oh, Alana from this, Adam Strange, whatnot.
Sure.
And then we have where's he at? Because he's El Diablo is in it also. So we were getting like a
Suicide
kind of
Squad?
from old Western comics because they're in an old Western world. So you get,
Oh, okay.
and there's one part where like he shoots some people, and uh like Robin's like, "Whoa, you sure about that no guns rule, Batman?" He's like, "I'm sure." And I was like, that's pretty great. And then like later on, Batman throws his battering thing, and the El Diablo is like, "Slick boomerang." He's like, "Tell that to the kid." I was like, that's fun. But yeah, I like this book. It's an odd one though. Like if you're not like up for like some weird stuff, don't check it out. But if you're like open to the weirdness, yeah, 100% read it. I'll give that an 8 out of 10.
I wanted to read that just based on the cover. I was like, oh, is this like a time travel story where they're cowboys? Because this looks fun. But then I
It's a
didn't read it.
it's a lot of fun, but like, dude, if you picked up on that's like a big like knock on this book is like if you picked up on that one, you'd be like, I don't know what I'm reading.
Fair enough.
Okay, and so lastly is the Detective Comics 1038.
I read
So yeah,
this one.
oh, you did. Okay, sorry. I was like, you hadn't been reading it, so I just didn't think you had. So yeah, I think we're all caught up then.
I would like, if you don't mind, to do Infinite Frontier last.
Okay, I'll move that. Let's do. Yeah, we can start with since I already mentioned Detective. We can do Detective, and then what other ones? Is there any preference you have for the others?
No, whatever.
All right, we'll just do Detective, and then Batman Reptilian, then Silk, and then Robin and Infinite Frontier.
Yes. You didn't do Action?
Oh, where is Action? Oh, Action is here. Yeah, I had Action in a different spot, so that threw me off. Yeah, let's do Action and Detective one after the other.
Okay.
Boy, this would be good if we actually prepared better. Shoot.
All right. So Action before Detective?
We'll just do, since I already mentioned Detective, we'll do Detective and then Action.
Okay.
So this is by Tamaki and Victor Bogdanovich on the art. The art's fantastic. What do you think of this one?
I liked it. I think that, pardon me. I think that this Mr. Worth guy is just a little too crazy. It's just he's done nothing but the screaming stuff for the last like 3 issues, and I get that his daughter just died, but he's just a little too much sometimes. And like the one thing that really bugged me, and clearly there's some corruption going on, but this guy gets out of jail, and the first thing he does is hold a press conference, and then threatens to kill 2 people, and he doesn't get arrested again or anything.
Yeah. No, like it's kind of dumb in that way because it's like, yeah, you have, and also first off, the last issue I mentioned this briefly. There was a part when he's like, "Bruce, where are you?" And then Batman shows up. He's like, "I'm right here." So it's like you're basically telling him that you're, and then the dude's too stupid to pick up on that,
Mhm.
which was dumb. And then like the fact that he can give Batman a run for his money, and he also has a bazooka that has unlimited ammo and like a clip because it's just like a bazooka you load from the front, and it even shows like it should be, but it's like no unlimited ammo like in a video game, and he's like just keep pull the trigger, keeps shooting, and it's like
Well, I knew it was going to be like that when Tamaki refers to it as a cannon in
yeah,
one panel, and I was like, oh, now it makes sense.
yeah, it's like that was pretty dang goofy, and it's also just the fact that this is Batman. He beats people, this is like some regular person. That was
Yeah.
gross. And and like he beats up everybody, and then it's like, oh no, this billionaire is giving it to him, and it's like that was pretty dumb. There's a lot to like gripe, like many gripes about it, but I didn't hate the story. It's
Oh
just kind
no.
of like there's just a lot of like these things that's like Tamaki's better than that in my opinion,
Yeah.
and So it's like if this was done by someone that wasn't as good, I probably wouldn't complain as much. But yeah,
Right. On to some of the positives though. The art really is that good. And then um I like the dynamic with Huntress. I think that's pretty cool. I'm glad that
yeah,
she's a part of this. And also they are still like not as much as the last couple issues, but they are still doing or approaching these scenes like detectives and like thinking
hmm
about all these different aspects, which I think is cool. Yeah, it's just some of the
I,
other goofy things sort of took me out of it a little bit.
now I have a question for you. What do you think of Huntress's like updated costume?
Um, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I kind of like the short sleeve, but then like tall glove thing.
Yeah,
But I think the gauntlets are neat, and yeah, I don't know, it's fine.
yeah. Like I'll say that the only downside of this is like this one looks more like a cosplay, where the other one looked more like a superhero costume. That's the only downside I have to it, where it's like I think it looks cool, but it doesn't look. It looks more like something that someone made from their closet, which is like she's not a billionaire, I don't think, so it makes sense that she could make something like this versus a superhero suit type thing.
Right, like the belly shirt is kind of weird, and then the shirt
Yeah,
itself doesn't look like it's gonna be bulletproof at all. I know that if she were to get shot or whatever, it'd be like, oh, good thing this is Kevlar, but it's like
yeah.
it doesn't really look like it.
Well, it won't be Kevlar. It'll be Mevlar. They're the thing that's lighter and more and
Yeah.
even better than Kevlar.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I did like the backup though
Me
with
too.
Penguin and the Batgirls. I thought that was pretty neat, and the art was really cool too. And it's nice to see Penguin not be a total joke for
Yeah.
once in the last several years.
Yeah, the
So
the backups by Megan Fitzmartin and Carl Mostert, and yeah, the they wrote Penguin really well. We don't get Penguin written well a lot, but when he is written well, he's actually, in my opinion, one of the most compelling Batman villains.
yeah,
But it's just like it's really easy to make him a joke.
it is. With the backup, I will give the whole comic a 7. Without the backup, it's probably a 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 also. So yeah, it, it's perfectly fine.
Also, the artist I think has a lot of Greg Capullo
Mm-hmm.
characteristics to his art, which is awesome. So normally it'd be like whoever follows up Dan Mora is going to be a disappointment, but this really wasn't a disappointment.
Not at all.
All right. Next, we've got Action Comics 1032. This is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and art by Daniel Sampier. And Casey, what did you think of this one?
I actually really liked it. Philip Kenny Johnson's really good. It's kind of building up this world in an interesting way. Some of the Atlanta stuff I didn't care too much about, but it's like this is just so that give Superman the reason to go to war, more reason to go to War World. But then like when you have Steve Trevor coming down, telling trying to demand stuff from Aquaman, it's like, really, dude, come on. Like your best bet would be to call your girlfriend, but she's not here, so you have no chance.
Yeah, it's funny for him to be like, if you don't give me the thing, it's gonna be war.
It's like, you
And
see this gun?
right, it's like, dude, these people are underwater magicians.
Yeah.
They know magic, they can control water, they can control the water life. Like you don't stand a chance. Um, but I just think they're just building up this like mystical artifact
Mm-hmm.
stuff with Atlantis, and I think that's fine. Overall, I think it's really great. I think the art is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, for me, and I did not read the backup
I
because
didn't
I
either.
I just can't care about it, and I don't think the
Yeah.
art looks good. But just the main story for me is gonna be an 8.
Yeah, like I'm gonna give it a 7 also, but the main story is outstanding. It's just I hate paying, $5 for a book and not reading the whole thing.
Yeah, which is fair.
Okay, so Batman Reptilian by Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp. I was really hyped for this book, and I'm not gonna lie, little let down. Um, I like Liam Sharp's art more in Green Lantern. I think a big part of that is because he's able to use more light colors, and this is like very dark. So it's like kind of hard to tell what's going on at times, in my opinion. But everyone like the way that the characters look and stuff, it is still pretty cool if you like the Liam Sharp designs. But the story itself, I don't know, wasn't into really. I'm into it enough to be like I want to see what happens, but yeah, what do you think?
I liked it more than you did.
Okay.
I think that some of it was gritty just to be gritty, and that's just kind of how Garth Ennis is. Like having some of Batman's villains, spoiler alert, die in these like horrible, mutilated ways. This is outside continuity, so it doesn't really count. So if it's going to be ultra violent, then I'm here for that. But I think the art was awesome. This is like right out of a 90s or early 2000s like Vertigo book or even DC book. Like it really reminds me of there was this 3 issue Dr. Midnight comic that Matt Wagner wrote, and the art really took me back to that. So there's some nostalgia there, but that's just how good of an artist Liam Sharp is. So yeah, I picked it up just because Liam Sharp's name was on it, but I think Garth Ennis does an okay job. I think some of his dialogue for Batman is actually like kind of cool and funny in some
Yeah.
parts where I'm like, it's nice to see him just be like, look, I will break your legs if you don't tell me what I want to know. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that's nice to hear, even if it gets to be too much, if he does it all the time. But I like this issue. I thought it was pretty neat. Uh, Probably like a 7 for me.
Yeah, I'd give it a 5. Liam Sharp's art, like I said, is great, but pretty dark, and it's also just kind of like I don't know. This it didn't grab me as well as I wanted it to. So I am still excited for the next issue because I feel like that's where stuff's going to pick up more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we've got Silk number 4. This was written by Maureen Gu and art by Takeshi Miyazawa. Casey,
And then
initial thoughts?
really quick, I just want to highlight we haven't been highlighting the cover artist, but this cover art is awesome and it's by Pyong Jun Park. And look at this cover for people on the YouTubes. That's great. Like the Silk covers have been knockouts, but
Yeah.
this is probably my least favorite issue of this series so far, which it's like that's not saying much since I think I've given them all like 9s and 10s. So, you're going to get one that's not as good as that, but this was just it was very much a filler issue in my opinion, just kind of like giving lots of exposition and stuff. What'd you think?
I actually liked it slightly more than number 3.
Oh, okay.
Um, just because I didn't have a clue who this lady is, this villain, or her dad, who I know is an established Spider-Man character. I didn't have a clue who they were, and this told
Yeah.
me who they were. So I was like, thank you.
I gotcha.
um, but yeah, I mean, it is still a filler issue. There's not like a lot of silk in it. So for me, it's still like a 7, but like an appreciative 7.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I gave all the other ones like 9s and 10s, maybe an 8. So like this is going to be a 7 for me also. And like I said, for me, it's like this is probably one of my favorite Marvel books. So this is a low score for it, but for a normal book like, anything by Al Ewing, this would be a really high score.
And I mean, if you'd even told me 6 months ago that a Silk book was one of my favorite Marvel titles, I'd have laughed at you.
I
But
know. It's pretty great. Like I need to remember the writer. I'm going to look at that name cuz like I want to
Maureen
when this
Gu,
is yeah, when this is done, I'm like I need to read more by her, get this name implanted in.
yeah, for sure. All right. Which
So
brings us next to, what are we doing, Robin?
Robin.
Okay.
And this is by Josh Williamson with Gleb Melnikov on the art. And how about your initial thoughts, man?
Um, I really, really liked the little sit down with Connor and Damien, where
Mm-hmm.
they're just talking about their not so great dads. Because I really thought that this was just gonna be Damien finding Connor, being like, "You're my number one rival," and then just angst throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then we didn't get that. They sat down and had a nice conversation and like laughed together. And I'm like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, that is not what I expected. So I thought that was cool. I even like the little part where they're at the party and he steals Shrike's knives and does a knife trick. Like, you know, this book isn't super serious, and that's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
And then, we get the big reveal on the last page. So, what do you think?
Yeah. I really liked it. I think it's a fun book. Like one thing that does kind of annoy me, and this is nothing like it's they very much age Connor down so he can match Damien. You know what I mean? Because it's like otherwise it would be weird, kind of weird if someone Dick Grayson's age is like BFFing with Damien.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a fun time. Like there's nothing more you can really ask for from a Robin book, in my opinion. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10.
And it's going to be a 9 for me.
Nice.
Okay. Final book.
Yep.
All right. So we've got Infinite Frontier number 1. And this is written by Joshua Williamson and art done by Zermanico.
Really quick, I know you are leading the front, but I just want to ask because I'd forget otherwise. What was your opinion on the Mitch Gerard's cover?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic.
Really, like, I don't know. I don't like how he drew Alan and Jade at all.
Will you hold it up? Because I had to bring home the variant.
Oh, okay.
um, yeah, I guess Alan's face isn't great, but I think
Yeah.
the rest of it sure is.
Maybe I'm still salty that he blocked me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as a person, I'm not a fan of his, but I can't deny how good of an artist he is.
But yeah, um, I'll let you take back the lead now.
Oh, sure. So yeah, was it the end of Death Metal where we get the Justice Incarnate? Is that what it's called? What are they calling themselves?
Yeah, I think it was either that or like the Infinite Frontier number. No, it was the end of Death Metal. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so yeah, this is a lot of setup. Like we see lots of people across the multiverse. But overall, I thought this was pretty neat. We get, was it Earth? Which Earth is it? The Flashpoint Batman.
Oh, I don't know. I
Anyway,
just call it Flashpoint.
yeah, Flashpoint Batman. I called him Batman. That's a different hero. Batman crash lands on Calvin Ellis, Superman's, I guess Smallville is what you'd call it. But anyway, yeah, we just meet the Justice Incarnate. We see Captain Carrot, who I'm sure Casey enjoyed seeing. Uh, and then the other members were Aquawoman, Mary Marvel, and Machine Head, and they're all from the different Earths. Yeah, and then we get Barry zooming through all the Earths too, gathering research about all of them, and he stumbles across the quintessence. But spoiler alert, they're all dead. But I do really like when he's like buzzing through the different art styles and times, I guess you'd say it. I don't know. I thought that was a pretty neat page where it just shows Barry in different art styles from different eras.
Yeah.
And it's funny because whenever that villain starts walking down the steps, um, I was like, oh my gosh, is that Psycho Pirate? And then you turn the page and it was. And I was so
Yeah,
excited that I guessed it right. But they actually made him look crazy cool, in my
they
opinion.
did. And what'd you
Um,
think about the Roy stuff?
I thought it was pretty neat. And then I got real confused on the last page.
Same.
So, like, the the beings he made with his ring were already there. Like, did he make them before we saw them and he was down on the ground? Like, what happened?
I mean, I think he didn't know that he had a Black Lantern ring, and then when they attacked, it was just like, oh, now I've got my Black Lantern ring, and it's doing stuff that I don't know what it's doing. That's how I took it,
Okay, fair enough.
but I really don't know either. I
Hmm.
will like one thing I'm curious about, and I wonder if they're going to explain it, which Joshua Williamson probably will. But you didn't read Tom King's Batman run, but in that, the old Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman was the main bad guy. Spoiler alert for those that haven't read it, but were like planning on it. He's like the main baddie, and it's like never really explained why he's the bad guy. I always felt like I missed an issue, which I when I was looking back I didn't, but it wasn't very really explained very well how he planned it all out and all that stuff. Like it was basically just like, no, I want to live my life with my son, and he doesn't need to be Batman type of nonsense. So it's like after all the crap that he did in that series, he got sent away, and now he's looking for Barry Allen, and he's just going to be a good guy now. What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, lots and lots of setup. Like we get a
Yeah.
lot of different characters here. Where was my train of thought going there? I don't remember. Oh, I will say maybe they're similar. It's been so long since I read Blackest Night. I thought that he had a white lantern ring, but I guess after looking it up, the white and black lantern rings look pretty much the same. So I guess it is a black lantern ring, but I got really confused because I don't really know what all the different rings do at this point. But
Yeah, I didn't read Brightest Day and the Blackest Night ones. It was just kind of like I didn't know all the stuff that they could do. I don't even think they were ever fleshed out that well, as far as I know. But I think it's just he has that now because he's dead. That's how I'm taking it. So
right on. Either way, I did overall like it. Like, the entire time I'm reading it up until that last page where I got confused, I was like really enjoying it.
mhm.
So I'm definitely in for the other 5 issues of this series, unless it just really tanks. But overall, I thought it was pretty cool.
Nice. What do you get out of 10?
Um, Probably like an 8. It loses
Yeah.
2 points for that last page because I was real confused, but otherwise, yeah, 8.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I really loved it. The art was great. The story, I like it was great, and like a telltale sign for me if I loved it or not with a book. It's always like I put it down, I'm like, that's it. I want more,
Mm.
and that's how I was with this. So yeah, I gotta give it a 9 out of 10.
Are you hoping for more Jade?
Yeah, like I mean, honestly, like I wish this was just a bigger book in general, because it's just like I was invested in all of these stories and we barely got any of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping for all of it to be more. I'm like the kid in Willy Wonka. I want more.
Here's a question. Did you know the skeleton guy and that
N-
lady?
No idea.
Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy, what did I not read that I should have
Oh,
read?
it was She-Ra and Skeletor.
Oh,
Come
come
on, and
on,
you
I would
you
have
say
known
you're a
that.
fan.
But yeah, really, really looking forward to the rest of that.
Okay, so what are you excited for this week, man?
Well, the top of the list, to no one's surprise, Beta Ray Bill. I think that's going to be super cool. Also gonna say Witcher, which is Lament number 2. Um, and then probably one of the Star Wars books because I've been digging all that stuff here lately. I can tell you it's not Black Knight.
Oh, it's not? I figured that'd be number one on your list.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm gonna say Shang-Chi, number two. I mean, that book is just great. Um, let's go with the Godzilla Rivals versus Hedorah. And then I'm gonna say Daredevil because come on. Come on. It's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. I think it's time for a Fantastic Four, am I right?
You are correct.
Okay, so I might try to put a little bit of the song into our when I put this, we get it all recorded, but there's this song called The Most Undesirable Song. I saw it on Instagram and I'm like, what? And it's 21 minutes long. And these composers made what they can like they took polls of like what's the least thing that you want in a song. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna make a song with this stuff. There's like opera and rap mixed together. There's like just random noises thrown in. It's terrible. And like I haven't been able to finish it yet because like I said, 21 minutes. But I was thinking, what if someone made the most undesirable comic book? So like make me a comic with a writer, artist, character, and plot. It can be Marvel or DC, but it needs to be something that's not going to make a lot of money.
Sure. So before I go with my off the cuff answer, I was gonna make a joke and say New 52 vibe, Jeff Johns, because I think that just pretty much sums up what you
Yeah,
want.
pretty
but
much.
but if I have to come up with one on my own, it's a Legion of Superheroes miniseries, but it's all the like really, really lame Legionnaires. So we've
So all
got
of them.
hey now, you're an all-star. We've got Arm Fall Off Boy, Chlorophyll Kid, Matter Eater Lad, and Bouncing Boy. I'm leaving out
Chlorophyll Kid
the
was my nickname in high school.
yeah, it was. Can confirm. Uh, I didn't include any of the ladies because most of the ladies have pretty cool powers in the Legion of Superheroes. This will be written by Scott Lobdell and art done by Rob Liefeld. Um, and the plot is that Arm Fall Off Boy learns that when his arms fall off, a part of his soul dies. So this group has to go and collect all of the arms that have fallen off to put his soul back together.
I
And
mean, I'm in.
that's what I got for you.
I'm in. I think that's going to be a new series for DC for sure, man.
Yeah, well, they better let me write it because man, I was firing on all cylinders for that idea.
Scott Lobdell is going to write it. You're the editor on it, so that's why you come up with the idea and then
okay.
he executes it.
Sure. He'd try, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
So I just came up with my creative team. I didn't come up with an actual book, but the creative team would be Joss Whedon and to no surprise, Rob Liefeld. Just because it's like those are two big names, and like the first issues would sell probably pretty well, but by the end of it, they'd be losing money on those books because it's like, first off, I don't know if you ever read a Joss Whedon comic. It's not the best, and then you add in the fact that it's like, oh, one issue will come out this year. Next one might come out the same year. Maybe it comes out 2 years from now. 8 months, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. And then, Rob Liefeld's art, especially, I have a feeling, especially with a writer like Whedon, it wouldn't work very well. Like, because Liefeld can be like pretty good if he's working with a writer that he likes or he's just really focused and he's, doing his stuff. And it's like, I'm not a fan of it, but it's like, I can see that. But when he's working with, like, when it's like something that he doesn't really care about, which I working with a Joss Whedon would be, it would be very, very bad.
So is that how the because he wrote Astonishing X-Men? Did it really come out like once a
I
year?
so I didn't read that. I read his Runaways run,
Oh,
and I had that via like the Marvel subscriptions because that's the only way you could get it at the time. And so it would be like I would forget that I had a subscription to it because I signed up for 12 issues,
yeah.
and that 12 issues took like 3 years to get done.
Wow.
Yeah, and so like when he left the arc, we had this other person come in. It wasn't very good, and it just kind of went downhill from there. But yeah, it just.
Was it good when it did come out?
I mean, like I always say, the only other person that's really got those characters since Brian K. Vaughan's Rainbow. So it's like it still kind of felt like someone doing like just their fan fiction of these characters. So it's just
Yeah.
like he introduced a new character from the past and other characters from the past, and there's a guy with metal wings, and
Well, I'm sold.
yeah, it's like it's one of those things too now, like especially now where it's like if you're like, oh, I want to read all the Runaways, like it's the most skippable arc.
Right. All right. Well, does that bring us to the end of the episode?
I think it does, man.
All right. Well, then let's do the closing plugs. If you would, please go like us on Facebook at facebook.com/2worldspodcast. You can also find us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube. Just 2worldspodcast on YouTube. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, all that jazz. And if you haven't, please review us 5 stars wherever you're listening to this. It would really help us out. Now, we'd love to stay in chat, but we have to go tidy up the death egg for Dr. Robotnik. So we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.